Okay, so we're still on section 1.6. We're going to pick up where we left off, and we're going to be adding and subtracting real numbers, and there will be a little bit of order of operations in these problems. All right, so with this first one, I'm going to write -9 minus, and in the parentheses that's 3 minus 8, which is the same as 3 plus -8. And so it gets a little clunky to rewrite all of this whenever you're working with these, but you might need to at this point. 3 plus -8 is -5. And now we're going to write this as -9 plus 5 because that's the opposite of -5, or two negatives make a positive. -9 plus 5 is going to leave me with -4. We have more negatives than positives. Now, this one looks a little bit messy, so I'm going to start out by just rewriting it to begin with, and then we'll talk about how to put this all together. This is -16, that's going to be plus 3, plus -11, plus -14. Remember, I rewrite double negatives as a plus, and one negative is plus a negative number. Now, what I like to do is add all my negative numbers together, because that just makes it easy. Instead of going from left to right, when we're adding, we can add in either order. So I'm going to take -16 plus -11 plus -14. And I'm going to add the -16 and -14 because I know that's -30. -30 plus -11 is -41. And then that's plus 3. I only have two numbers to work with the opposite signs now. I have more negatives than positives in this case, so that is -38. Alright, so we have some grouping symbols and different things. You know, there are different ways to go about this, but for sure we want to start in the brackets, right? And so inside the brackets, notice we have parentheses. This is the same as 4 plus -15. So I'm going to add those two together and I get -11. Two negatives on the 6 make that plus 6, and then that's plus -8. Now I'm going to work inside the brackets before I do anything with this -5. I have -11 plus -8. So I always just like to combine the numbers that have the same signs. This is -19 plus 6. And then I'm going to simplify the brackets once again here. In the brackets I have -19 plus 6, which is more negatives than positives by 13, so that's a -13. When I add these two together, I end up with -18, and we're finished with that one. Now we've got even more things going on. So we have the absolute value of -2, which is 2. I can go ahead and simplify these things because I have plus signs in between everything. 6 squared is 36. Now this is the same as -3 plus -8. So that's going to be plus a -11. I'm going to add my positives, so 38 plus -11. I have more positives than negatives this time, so it's really just 38 minus 11, right? That's really what's happening here, and that gives me 27. All right, so these are evaluating algebraic expressions. How many do I have here? Just that. So I think I'll just go ahead and put that on the same video. All right, so we're going to replace x with -5. T is going to be 10. It's -7 times y, and y is 4. Now this is all inside the absolute value bars, so we know our answer is going to end up being a positive number in the end. So -5 plus 10 minus 28 when I multiply, right? Because that's -7 times 4, or 7 times 4, and there's a minus sign there. And then I'm going to add the -5 and the -28, so that's -33 plus 10. I'm kind of running out of space. That's -23, and my answer is 23 because the absolute value of a number is always positive. Let's look at this x. Okay, so we're going to take a -5 and put that in for x. We're squaring that. And it's 2 times t, which is 10. So now we've got, that's a positive 25 because it's -5 times -5 because we have parentheses. So 25 minus 20. And that gives us 5. So that's the end of lesson 1.6. Be sure and let me know if you have any questions.